PK in the universe, and I am back again. I've recorded this multiple times actually. I keep getting a bit tongue-tied. You know, this is a really interesting time on the channel. This is probably the most successful year I've ever had on this channel, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about that and, you know, level with you guys on how the year of 2022 went for me, because it went well. I think most of my close friends understand that, but maybe you guys in the audience, maybe you don't know quite where I was and how far I've come. So kind of that's what this video is about, is talking about that and talking about, you know, where I was, where I am now on this channel, and how the channel has changed, grown, and evolved throughout the year of 2022. I'm just going to start saying 22 because 2022 is just such a mouthful. And speaking of, anyways, I need to have a quick sip of beer here. Got this fine adult beverage here. Good way to start 2023. And this is the first video I'm doing of 2023. In fact, I'm recording this video literally exactly a year from my first video of 2022. And that first video of 2022 was a total banger. We talked about the Evercade VS, the Atari VCS, and the Intellivision Amico in the same video. I went back and looked at that video today, and there's some things in it that are really good, and then there's some things that have aged like milk. So maybe I should like revisit that at some point in the year and talk about that video again, because there were some really interesting ideas I had in there and thoughts, and then some of that, you know, the information has just changed, honestly, over time. We also ended this year with a really banging video. That video, well, it was pretty controversial, and we'll maybe talk a little bit about more later, you know, my thoughts about the aftermath of everything, and yeah, we'll talk about that maybe a little later in the video. It's been a really good year. I put out 61 videos. I don't know if that's a lot compared to other years. It's definitely better than that one year where I put out like 14 videos. I've had a lot of years where I put out barely any videos. 22 is a year I put out a very good, healthy amount of videos, and that's not even including shorts videos. Where I am at subscriber-wise, at the end of 2021, I was at maybe like 600 some, but today in 2023, I'm at 1,057 subscribers, I want to say, so it's had a pretty big jump. This has been a very successful year. I didn't set out to get 1,000 subscribers. I set out to try to make the best content I could make and focus on a particular niche audience that I felt was underserved in the retro gaming scene. And I've done that. I've achieved my goal of, you know, serving that audience better and trying to offer a unique perspective. That was the goal. I didn't really have a specific subscriber goal. I thought, oh, maybe I'll get 100 more subscribers this year or something. And then after pretty quickly, I realized, yeah, we're going to far surpass this. I didn't think we'd get to 1,000 by the end of the year. I really didn't, but I'm really happy, obviously, because every YouTuber would like to get to the goal of monetization, but we'll talk a little bit about that more later, because I actually want to talk about that a little towards the end. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I think one of the biggest changes is, well, a new video game console in the universe here, and that is the Evercade VS. The Evercade VS, I had done a review about this. And later on, of course, I got the Evercade, the original handheld. I have about 24 cartridges now for the console, and it's a system I'm pretty passionate about. I really like the cartridges. I like this whole, you know, retro gaming, you know, basically back to the old style sort of deal kind of thing. You know, you're putting cartridges in a front-loading system. I love that stuff. I love the indie retro stuff, especially the, you know, these games that were indie or homebrew games, you know, they're oftentimes called. That's the thing I really like the most about Evercade, is the indie stuff. You know, it's like when you buy these cartridges, you're getting a lot of cool indie games for a very affordable price, and of course, you know, helping support these indie devs. So yeah, I got the Evercade and the Evercade VS, but I also, on December 31st, this came for me in the mail. I finally got a purple Evercade. I've always wanted to get one of these, but, you know, I wasn't into Evercade when these first, you know, came out, and it was a Fun Stock exclusive. I probably hold the dubious honor of paying the least amount of money for a purple Evercade on eBay, that is, specifically. Because, yeah, I paid like $125. Now, here's the catch. This thing was loose. So basically, yeah, it didn't have the box or the certificate of authenticity. I don't think somebody made a counterfeit purple Evercade. Nobody would go to that trouble and then sell it for so little money. It also came with the carrying case as well, which those things go for like 20, 30 bucks. So I feel like I made out pretty well. You know, this came from across the pond in Great Britain. And yeah, I'm really happy with this. I'm not going to do a video on it because honestly, I did a video, of course, reviewing the original Evercade. And if I have to be truthfully honest, there is not much of a difference, honestly. It's the same screen, basically. In fact, this screen actually has a slight scratch on it, but whatever. Maybe I'll pull a Crow Continuum and like replace the screen. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go to all that trouble. But yeah, so I have 3 Evercades now, since I have the VS and the original handheld, and now I have this. So I got plenty of Evercades. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this. This works as intended. I felt like I needed an extra Evercade. I needed an extra Evercade. Plus, I'm letting my friend Super Nintendo borrow my Evercade handheld. He says he's going to do a video on it. We'll see. We'll see if he really does a video on it or not. I think he just wanted to play Indie Heroes. Yep, but I think having the Evercade definitely, you know, getting the Evercade stuff and making more videos on Evercade. I made like 40 some videos at least on Evercade this year. You know, that was my bread and butter. I was talking about Evercade, you know, and just, I really like the Evercade community. It's filled with so many good people. And, you know, and most people I don't, you know, haven't had too many issues with. You know, there's always people in the gaming community, no matter what gaming community you go to, who might, you know, ruffle your feathers and stuff. But speaking of ruffling my feathers, let's talk about the Canadian storm that happened in, what was it, March, I want to say, when I first started really getting into the Evercade stuff. So there was this guy on Twitter. He had, I don't know, he made fun of me or something. So, like, you know, I left him a GIF or something. And I don't know. But anyways, and he started making videos about me. That guy, of course, is Canadian Gamer. Canadian Gamer. Oh, man. So we had a little back and forth there, and there was some drama between us. And like, I got to the point where I was like, I flat out like, I'm not going to give this guy the time of day. I refuse to make a video about him or do any of that stuff. And he just kept like, you know, poking me. And eventually, I can't remember what happened. I honestly can't remember what exactly happened, but I think I like went off on him, and like, it was Master System Marceau I had issues with too. Like, Master System Marceau, I consider him to be a good friend in the community here. Good friend of mine, and him and Canadian Gamer now. But that wasn't always the case. And Marceau, I blocked Marceau twice on Twitter, no kidding. But we eventually kind of came to terms and kind of figured things out. And sometimes, you know, it's crazy. We're grown adults. You'd think we'd be able to figure this stuff out, but one thing I figured out about Canadian Gamer is the best thing you can do sometimes is just play along. Reminds me of my friend Cliff I knew years ago. Cliff and I, we would say things to each other just were like insanely absurd. But the important thing was that the other person said something just as equally absurd back. Otherwise, you know, it kind of just ruins the joke. You know, and I think when I listen to like Marceau and Cam, when they talk on their, you know, their live stream or whatever, I feel like that's the best representation of those guys, honestly. You know, sometimes Canadian Gamer, he makes some crazy videos, and he really likes to take the piss out of me, and it's all in good fun at this point. You know, it was not maybe initially, but now it's kind of just become like, you know, we're horsing around at this point, and some people are in on the joke and some people are not. But it's funny to watch the people who are not in the joke react. But yeah, it's interesting too. And what actually kind of was what I think was the bridge and the gap, you know, kind of like at one point we just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of ended. And then all of a sudden I think he commented on some of my older videos or whatever. And then he made a video and he had some nice things to say about me. And I think we were cool after that, and we've not had any issue. But it was really interesting. Him and Marceau, oh my gosh, we had some wild times there, you know. And I actually have to admit, I made my video like 5 things people get wrong about Evercade, kind of sort of pseudo in response to him. I mean, there were other people in the community who had brought up some of the same points, and I'm like, no, this is how it is. And that video was the most popular single video of the entire year. I can honestly say I've never had more success on getting views and watch time, for that matter, in any other year than 2022. Like in like 8 or 9 years I was on YouTube, I had maybe 8 videos that got 1,000 views. This year I had 10 videos that got over 1,000 views. this was unprecedented, you know, like how well these videos have done. And a lot of that has everything to do with the Evercade community. And, yeah, and again, that video, like, you know, it's kind of like low key. I was calling him out about the whole, it encourages, I don't know, collecting addiction or something like that. I think that was one of the things I brought up that he had brought up. And then he did a response video to that. Oh man, that was a fun time. Fun times for sure. And he still takes the piss out of me all the time. And I just, you know, I just play along, whatever, man. He gives me a hard time. I give him a hard time back. It's all in good fun now, but that's how it is. People, we do what we do, you know, and it's YouTubers, you know, making YouTube videos. Also, and up next, something else I did. I actually took an entire month off on YouTube during 2022 where I worked on trying to develop my own video game. And I'm still actively doing this. I just can't really decide on what engine I want to use, like definitively. What engine is going to work for me? Because I have RPG Maker MZ, I have XP, I have 2003. Obviously I could use GB Studio. I have so many different options of different game development tools I could use. And I just keep basically, you know, ripping up the paper, starting all over. I've definitely invested at least 50, 60 hours of my life trying to develop a game and got nowhere. Now, it's not over. It's not over. I'm going to do it. But it's on the back burner for now, and I will do it though. I'm thinking I got a date in mind of when I'm gonna start doing it again. I'll let you guys know because I don't want to say on camera that like, oh, I'm doing it this date. I'm doing it here indefinitely. And you know, I've tried working on and on and off, and it just doesn't work. Like you really have to block out time to really do anything effective, and keep learning and learning because it's so easy to forget everything you've learned. Game development is really hard. And it's given me so much more respect for the people who make indie games and the people whose content their games that I've reviewed. Yeah, so my game development studio, it's not dead, but it's a slow process. I'm still actively working on it, and eventually I will put something out. I don't know if the game will ever be on Evercade or anything like that, but it will happen. Another one of the big things this year was I had gotten an Atari VCS. I finally got an Atari VCS. GameStop was having this crazy fire sale. It was $99, and I got one. I finally got one. It was the all-in bundle, too. The Onyx one, the black one. I would have preferred the wood grain one since I actually have my family's original wood grain Atari Light Sixer. But, yeah, it's a cool little system. It does really interesting things. Did a review on it. And that actually kind of brings me to the next topic. This was the year of the return of the review. Now, a long time ago, this channel was called PK's Retro Reviews. That's how this channel started out. Then it became PK versus the World because I didn't want to be a channel that just did reviews or that was the defining thing about my channel. But I've kind of gotten back into the review game. I feel like there's been a return to form in me actually doing more informal but still formal-ish reviews. I mean, I talk about really specific things. The reviews are pretty well structured. I talk about specific parts of it. I mean, some are more informal than others, but I've been doing actual reviews again. And honestly, I forgot how much I enjoyed doing reviews and actually saying, this is a review, not just, it's my thoughts, you know, which is just like a random stream of consciousness of things I've said, you know, or thinking in my head, or like, oh, this is a point I want to talk about, you know, kind of thing. So I've really enjoyed doing reviews, and I plan to do more. This year, of course, I reviewed the Evercade VS, the Atari VCS. And I also got my first incentivized review. That is, I was given a game by a company for free to review, and that was the incentive. Is I got it for free to review and for review purposes. I didn't get paid any money to review that game. I suppose if I sold the game, then I made a profit. That would be kind of a paid review, but I'm not giving up that game. And that game, of course, is Astronite. Astronite was so much fun. I had a blast with it. It's a game I need to revisit again, and definitely still highly recommend. I had a lot of fun with it. It's both challenging and fun. I also reviewed a game called Magic and Legend Time Nights, and that's a Game Boy Game Boy Color game. And I was given the ROM for it, so I didn't actually get a physical version of it or anything, but... and some other, you know, like they give you a bunch of stuff like a press kit kind of thing. You know, it's the PDF with some stuff. And yeah, that was a lot of fun too. And that's a quick 20-minute game. I did a review about that. The video didn't get a lot of views, but man, I had a blast playing that game and talking about that game. And there's a sequel actually that's actually also on itch.io, and I do intend to review that this year as well. I know the video didn't do really great, but I had so much fun doing it. I want to do another one just like it because YouTube, yes, we all want people to see our videos. We all want to get all the views and likes and subscribes. But sometimes it's just fun to make a video that you enjoy making, you know. It doesn't have to be just one or the other, you know what I mean? So that's a video that I will definitely be putting out. I will definitely do a review of the sequel to that game. It's called, I don't know what it's called. I put it on this piece of paper here. It's called Magic and Legends Star Seekers. Yes. So I will definitely be talking about that game down the road here. The Evercade Effect incident, which was the last video of the year. Oh my gosh. I did not know what to think before I put that video. I ran it by some friends of mine because I was kind of hoping, it's like, maybe I'm way out of line with this video. Maybe they'll talk me out of it. Nobody wanted to talk me out of it. It's like, they were like, these things need to be said, PK. You know, they need to be said. And I'm really glad that Ed reached out to me. I'm glad we resolved the issue. We worked things out and we decided we're going to respect one another and show respect towards each other. You know, I told him, I was like, you respect me, I respect you. And he's like, absolutely. So I'm glad we worked that out, you know, and I'm really glad. I'm just shocked though, because I thought I was a little nervous making a video like that. That was a hard video to make. I know I made it kind of look easy, but that was difficult. That cold opening was a banger though. You guys gotta admit, I laughed so hard after I finished making the cold opening because I had time to think about this. I didn't just, you know, make this video right after the events happened, you know, of course not. I, you know, molded over in my head and thought about, well, what can I do, you know, because the thing about life is there are no mistakes. There are only opportunities. Everything is an opportunity to do something new. And I made me realize, hey, I want to do more cold openings in more of my videos in the future going forward. It's fun to do a cold opening. And, you know, I want to thank the Evercade community because, you know, I was expecting a ton of backlash. But no, I had a lot of people who were like, you know, it's like these kind of things just shouldn't happen, you know, and we need to, you know, communicate with people better. And like I said, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I was thinking back to some comments maybe I made in reply to people who were hostile towards me that I probably should have, you know, handled better. You know, we all make mistakes. And I'm really glad that Ed and I can move on from this. And, you know, yeah. That's about the most I can really say about it. It was the cold opening was hilarious. I still laugh when I think about that. But I had you know, it was a hard video to make because, you know, I never made a call out video of anybody ever. You know, anybody who's watched this channel over the last 9 or 10 years knows that's not the kind of video I make. And as I said in that video, you're not going to see videos like that from me going forward because it's just not something I want to do and not something that I want to define this channel. But you know, sometimes a guy's got to do what a guy's got to do, you know. But yeah, I'm really glad we're moving on from that. One thing I want to do in this channel this year is do more Wii U stuff. I made one Wii U video last year, which is crazy because I used to be known as the Wii U guy, you know, the guy who has a Nintendo Switch, but still, you know, talks up the Wii U still after all these years, even when it wasn't, you know, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because people were appreciating the Wii U more. Maybe it felt like I didn't need to defend it as much. But I think there's some things that are definitely going to be worth talking about the Wii U in 2023. For example, I mean, it weighs heavy on me a little bit, I guess, to some extent that it's such a bummer the Wii U eShop is closing and the 3DS eShop are closing. It really bums me out. You know, we took it for granted. We took Virtual Console for granted. But also there's some games that are on there that are exclusive to the Wii U and 3DS that I think are worth talking about. So I'm going to talk about some of those games. For example, the Ultra Dolphin Revolution games on Wii U. I plan to do maybe some reviews of those or just talk about, maybe do an overall retrospective on them. Because they are basically the last exclusive only Wii U developer. Like literally all they ever have done as far as I know is they've just made games on Wii U. And long after the Wii U had long before the popularity of the Wii U had died out, even though there really was never much popularity for the Wii U, but like they were making games since 2016. They just released their very last game this year. In fact, they gave me a free code for it too. And I have a little cameo in the game actually too, in this game called Captain U. So that's pretty cool. You know, they reached out to me like, hey, would you like to make a cameo on this and just do some voice recording? I'm like, sure. So yeah, Captain U on the Wii U. And yeah, if you're a Wii U owner and you really like the 8-bit style games, definitely check out Ultra Dolphin Revolution. I can't say enough about them. And then another developer is Jarrell Dulé of the Silver Falls games of Sungrand Studios. He's making games for the 3DS and the Wii U, and he's like the last guy doing it. Like it's coming down to the wire. Like I feel like, yeah, he's got 2 Wii U games coming out, and he just finished up his last 3DS game. And I will be buying that 3DS game day one. I buy all the Silver Falls games unless it's the new 3DS ones. I don't buy those just because I don't have a new 3DS, but I have a Wii U and a 2DS. So I buy all those games. And I bought his game on Switch as well. He also has a Game Boy Color game that's totally free. You can go to his website and download it. And that's pretty fun. I feel like I played that game more than anything. It's funny. I played the free game. But yeah, he's got some good games on 3DS. Definitely worth checking out. And yeah, just go to your 3DS eShop and then he's got 2 games coming out on the Wii U. I think they're still coming out as far as I know. There's like Silver Falls White Inside its Umbra, and I think there's Silver Falls Undertakers. It is like a remake of the Undertakers that was on 3DS. I think that's what it is. Yeah, I definitely want to cover his games down the road because I think they're games that, are underappreciated. This guy's ridiculous. This guy works like 130 hours a week. No joke. He's a single indie dev, does everything, does his own music, programs his own games in Unity. It's crazy. And just, I think he playtests his own games too. It's just madness. This guy has like sacrificed his personal, physical, and mental health to put these games out, to celebrate the 3DS and the Wii U. So definitely going to be talking about him this year and his games. He's made some exceptional games, and I definitely want to cover those games and give you guys my thoughts on them. So also, I'm going to talk about another passion of mine, and I talked about this a little bit in my video where I talked about how to build a PS2 collection with only $100 or whatever it was. I talked about NASCAR games. I actually want to talk about NASCAR PS2 games on this channel. I feel like there's hardly anybody who does, but there's actually people who do kind of search for NASCAR games. So I feel like that'd be an interesting way of branching out content-wise, is talking about that. So yeah, I'm going to talk about NASCAR games, and I think I have some really interesting and unique ways of doing it that I haven't seen a lot of videos about. So I'm going to do some of that, get back to my racing roots. I've been a lifelong NASCAR fan. I've been a NASCAR fan, well, really since I can remember watching races since like 1992. Like I remember sitting with my father watching the last race of 1992, which was like one of the most significant races in NASCAR history because it was Jeff Gordon's first race, Richard Petty's last race, and it was like this. There was a 3-way battle between 3 Ford drivers. It was Davey Allison, Alan Kawicki, and Bill Elliott. And Alan Kawicki, who was an owner driver, won his first championship, and this was the first time that an owner driver had won a championship since like Richard Petty. So it was a big deal. And so, yeah, I've been watching NASCAR a long time, and I played the NASCAR games on PS2 a lot when I was in my 20s. I bought every game like brand new when it came out, kind of thing. I think starting with Thunder 2003 all the way up till 09. So I want to talk, and then I bought up to like maybe NASCAR 13, I think, and then on the PS3, and then I just kind of stopped. So I've been replaying those games lately. I've been getting back into that, so it'd be great to actually do something with that and give it my thoughts and, tell you guys more about my passion for NASCAR, because, I mean, some of you guys might be interested. Who knows? I definitely, want to do more reviews on the channel. I also want to review the game The Sinking City. The Sinking City is one of those games I've been playing on and off. I have it on Nintendo Switch. I have it on my PC. The guys who made it or whatever are a Ukrainian dev, and they're going through some terrible times right now, obviously being in Ukraine. And they're also making a game about Sherlock Holmes. It's called Sherlock Holmes The Awakening. It's a remaster of an original. They made a bunch of Sherlock Holmes point and click games or whatever that are all pretty cheap to find. And basically, yeah, it's Sherlock Holmes meets, H.P. Lovecraft kind of, games. And so those are really cool, and I really can't wait to see their new game that they're going to come out with here in the future. So I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of H.P. Lovecraft, I'd love to review the game Cthulhu Saves Christmas. I just got that recently. My son's actually been playing it more than I have. It's one of those things. I got it on GOG or whatever, and I started playing. He's like, "Hey, let me play for a little bit." I walk away for a bit. Next thing I know, he's like at level 9 with his characters. It's basically a Cthulhu RPG. It's hilarious. Great writing too. Again, I want to cover the Silver Falls games, the UDR games, want to cover those. I also want to cover a game that's made in RPG Maker Fez. Since the 3DS eShop's going away, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this game, because this is a game that was made in that and you can actually download this game for free if you download RPG Maker Player on the 3DS. And you can basically, download people and just look for this game called Beasts of Hamelin. It's by a YouTuber, Daria Plays RPGs. She hasn't made a video since like 2020, but she spent like 300 hours making this game. It's like a 4-hour long game. Well, 8 hours in my case, because I'm really terrible at RPGs, I guess. But I had a lot of fun with that, and I had played and beat the game. So I was like, you know what? At some point, I would like to review that game. So I think I will give that game a review, and hopefully maybe by the time I get the review out, maybe you guys will still actually have a chance to still download it if you haven't seen this video. Beasts of Hamelin. Download the RPG Maker Player on the 3DS. It's totally free. Now, to actually make your own RPGs, of course, you have to download the game RPG Maker Fest or buy the game physically, which I have the game physically. And of course, I want to do more reviews on Evercade games, of course. A while back, I alluded to I wanted to do a review of the game Alien Cat 2. And I had talked a little bit about it in another video, and I definitely would like to give that a proper review. And there's some other games, too, on Evercade that I would love to actually do a proper review of. So expect to see some Evercade reviews. So what are my goals? What are my goals on this channel? Obviously, it's to put out the best content I can make, of course. That's the politically correct answer. I'd love to do more fun cold openings like I did in the last video. I want to do more cold openings, and goof around a little bit more. Have some fun on this channel. Not that I don't, but have even more fun than I'm already having. I want to make more parody videos. Oh man, my Evercade 2023 predictions, I thought that was funny as heck, and a lot of people got a kick out of that. Some people didn't get it, but that happens. I expected that to happen. I want to make more evergreen content. I want to make content that people come across 5 years from now and aren't like, oh, this is incredibly out of date. I want to make more evergreen content. I don't have a specific subscriber goal. I've reached 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal of everybody under 1,000. So it's just, there's only one way to go but up. So it is what it is. My goal overall, I guess, would be to get more watch time, because I'm below the 4,000 hours of watch time. What a lot of YouTubers don't realize when they're, going for that 1,000 subscribers is to get your channel monetized, you need 4,000 hours of watch time. I'm at 3,000 at the time of this recording. So, we're getting close. We're getting close. But it's not where I would like it to be, obviously. And here's the thing. Some people are like, well, why do you care so much about getting monetized? Well, here's the thing. Every channel on YouTube is monetized. YouTube puts ads on every single video. Just some of us are getting a cut and some of us are not. I just want to be one of the people who gets a cut. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And honestly, that was one thing that really motivated me to actually want to grow this channel and grow the subscriber base and make better content, make better thumbnails, make better videos overall and a higher quality level, is because at one point I realized that, hey, YouTube's going to put ads on my videos no matter what, and they're going to make money off my work, so I might as well make some money off my work. So who cares? I mean, obviously, and I've always been a little rubbed the wrong way about that. Like, if you are a monetized channel, can you actually unmonetize your own videos? Because let's say you were making something like deeply personal, like it was a tribute video to somebody who passed away, and you didn't want to make, money off, their memory and stuff. Could you get your video unmonetized? I don't know. I've thought about that too, because I always thought that was really, I don't know, kind of seedy. I don't know. Like, you shouldn't make money off people's death or, misfortune and stuff. But so, yeah, I don't have a really distinct subscriber goal. Obviously, the more subscribers, the better. Obviously, you can't go wrong with having more people who are interested in what you're doing and the kind of content you make. So, overall, the year 2022 was the best year on this entire channel's existence. Honestly, I'm really happy with the direction this channel is going. And I'm so grateful for all the people who watch my videos and, interact with me. Even you people, some of you people I've had to ban, I'm grateful that you came to my channel at all, I guess. Because it shows me that, people outside my own, friend circle are checking out my stuff. And it means a lot to me. It really does. No kidding. I mean, it's been a whirlwind year. And, obviously it ended really interesting for sure. And, obviously, want to leave the drama behind. Let's just be drama free in 23. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I don't have a lot more to say. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you like the direction this channel's going? Do you want to, what kind of content do you want to see that maybe I didn't mention? Comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay awesome in this universe. Thanks. Bye.